Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So Gervonta Tank Davis, in an interview that he was doing, I believe during like a media workout or right after a media workout, getting ready for this Rolly Romero fight this Saturday on Showtime pay-per-view, he mentioned that, you know, they brought up Canelo during the interview, and he was like, you know, hey man, I'm a more skillful fighter than Canelo Alvarez, and I stand on that. You can't really compare me to Canelo Alvarez and, you know, his deficiencies that he's shown in previous fights and the deficiencies that he showed in this last fight versus Dimitri Bivol. You know, he just said, I'm simply a more skillful fighter than Canelo Alvarez. And I was noticing in the comments, you know, and people making response videos and reaction videos and shit. A lot of these Canelo fans got their panties in a bunch and they, you know, going crazy. Oh my God, Tank Davis is delusional and all of this wild shit. And I'm like, do you guys actually like watch boxing? Do you actually pay attention to the fights? Do you actually pay attention to the film? You know, have you actually watched Gervonta Tank Davis and seen what this man can do in the ring? Now, whether you believe pound for pound, skill for skill, take the size out of it. If you believe that pound for pound, skill for skill, that Canelo is a better fighter than Tank, so be it. That's your opinion. That's cool. And if you believe Tank is a more skilled fighter than Canelo, like me, like Tank does, that's cool too. But to say he's delusional because he believes, that means you're far off. You know what I'm saying? You're far off and you don't really know what you're watching, because Tank Davis can do everything Canelo can do and more. If you break it down skill for skill, Tank Davis has every right to believe that he's a more skillful fighter than Canelo Alvarez. We seen that Canelo he can have things taken away from him to where he can't do shit. He didn't have an answer for Dimitri Bivol. He had no answer at all. No answer. He had no second or third gear. Made no adjustments. Same thing that happened in the Floyd Mayweather fight. And the same thing that really happened in the Lara fight as well. Only thing is, Lara didn't play no damn offense. All he did was play defense all day. So they gave the fight to Canelo by default, just off of aggression. Canelo has been proven to have these deficiencies over the course of his career, not really using the jab as often as you should. Having a low-ass gas tank and fading late in fights. Not being able to fight off of the back foot consistently, especially with a guy who has a consistent jab, you know, who throws combinations every now and then, and who's just an overall solid boxer like Dimitri Bivol, like Floyd, who was able to push Canelo back, and he couldn't do shit off the back foot. Had Erislandy Lara stood his ground just a few moments in that fight, you know, around here, around there, you know, 30 seconds here, 15 seconds there, he would have won that fight. You got to stand your ground versus Canelo Alvarez. Canelo showed you time after time he has no fucking second or third gear. He had no answer for Dimitri Bivol. He just took his L because he didn't want to get stopped. He didn't want to try to go for broke versus Bivol because he knew Bivol would turn up on his ass and fuck around and stop him because he has no gas tank late in fights. Especially when you make him work early in the early rounds. Tank Davis has better hand speed. I think pound for pound, Tank Davis hits harder than Canelo Alvarez. I think Tank Davis's IQ is either at the same level or higher than Canelo Alvarez. I think Tank Davis has better feet. Canelo don't got no feet. That shit has been exploited multiple times throughout his career. He don't have no fucking feet. Really good up. I would even argue great upper body movement. But feet, he don't got no fucking feet. Tank Davis got upper body movement and he got feet. He showed you that in the Isaac Cruz fight. He been showed you that in previous fights, but it was on even more displayed at an even higher level in the Isaac Cruz fight, because he hurt his left hand. Most people believe his best punch is the left uppercut. He hurt his left hand throwing the left uppercut on Isaac Cruz hard ass skull, and he couldn't use that motherfucker for like 4 or 5 rounds. He had no choice but to box off of the back foot and be strategic and be intelligent and set traps, and use his lead right hand to throw hooks and use his jab. He was even throwing the right uppercut, which was something that you really don't see from Tank Davis from his lead hand. You don't really see a lot of fighters throw uppercuts with their lead hand. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that very often. But Tank Davis showed you the versatility in multiple fights. In a fight versus Mario Barrios, his first fight at 140, fighting a bigger guy, taller guy, a guy that may be physically stronger, who was very good at using a jab, coached by Virgil Hunter. Mario Barrios had a really good jab in that fight. And Tank Davis, it took him some time to find that rhythm and take that jab away from Barrios, which he was ultimately able to do, and started landing the lead right hook, you know what I'm saying, to the head and to the body. Started to close that distance and catch him at an angle where he can take that jab away and get his shit off first. That's IQ. That's intellect. That's adjustments. That's versatility. You know what I'm saying? Tank Davis can fight at more ranges than Canelo can fight at. Tank Davis can fight at long range. He can box you from the outside. His reach ain't all the way there because he's a smaller guy. And depending on the size of his opponent, he can fight you in a chess match from the outside. He can fight you at mid-range. He can go to the inside and find his pocket and be able to get shit off and control you from the inside. He can do that. Tank Davis has showed you multiple times that he can make adjustments that Canelo Alvarez haven't been able to make in his career. Versus Leo Santa Cruz, a guy who was longer and taller with a good jab in that fight, where Tank had to find his way on the inside to be able to make his presence known and ultimately get Leo Santa Cruz up out of there. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to look at just the skills, don't look at the resume, don't look at the experience, don't look at the size, because these are things that you really can't account for. Tank Davis haven't had the opportunity to fight certain level of competition that Canelo Alvarez has had an opportunity to fight. For whatever reason, the business, his promoters, the fight, he tried to get the Ryan Garcia fight. We know that Tank Davis has been moved strategically, just like Canelo Alvarez has been moved strategically. Just like we ain't seen Canelo fight Charlo. We ain't seen him fight Benavidez. We just seen him fight Bivol, a fight that motherfuckers wanted him to fight when he first went up to 175, but instead he chose old, drunk-ass, beat-up Kovalev, you know what I'm saying, to make it seem like he did something. Knowing damn well Kovalev just came off the fight of his life 8 weeks prior, and he had a rape case going on. The dude was a drunk as fuck, and had been stopped 2 or 3 times before that. But he went up there and fought Kovalev instead of Beterbiev or Bivol to make it seem like, oh my God, I'm winning another title at 175. Oh my God, I'm doing something amazing. We all knew what the fuck that was. So the same way Tank is being moved strategically, Canelo being moved the same way. You know what I'm saying? So take all the resume and all that shit out and you just look at the skills. Tank Davis, in my opinion, is a better fighter than Canelo Alvarez. He has more tools, he's a more skilled fighter, and he has more natural ability, more athleticism. I mean the dude, knock your ass out and then get on the top rope and do a backflip. You dig what I'm saying? And land that motherfucker perfectly. Athleticism, raw ability, shit that you can't teach. You either have it or you don't. So I believe what Gervonta Tank Davis said, that he is more skillful than Canelo, and he's shown that in multiple fights. Canelo has shown you, I haven't seen Tank Davis in a position yet where he couldn't find no answer. Hurt his hand, but he found the answer versus Isaac Cruz. A guy that puts on very, very good pressure, who's strong, who can punch. You know what I'm saying? Very effective aggression, but he found the answer with his best weapon taken away from him. I've yet to see Canelo Alvarez find an answer for somebody who make his ass fight off the back foot. You know what I'm saying? And somebody who exploits his lack of footwork. I've yet to see him find an answer for that. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. How y'all feel about Tank Davis, confidently saying that he's a more skillful fighter than Canelo Alvarez, and these, goofy ass, toxicity riddled, Canelo Alvarez fans, getting their panties in a bunch about a man being confident in his skill set, feeling like he's better than another motherfucker, because shit, I think he is. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Contender Regime Boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.